Alright, in this month's warm-up, we're going to focus on some hip drops first. You're going to stand, feel where your hip bones are, and you're going to drop one down while raising the other one up. So kind of a rocking back and forth motion. It's okay that your knee drops forward a little bit. It's normal in this movement. And you're going to do about 20 to 30 seconds of these hip drops. Then what we're going to do are hip tilts forward and backward. So you're tilting your hips back. You can think about your tailbone. You're pushing that backwards and then forwards. Forwards, just like hip thrust, clenching your butt at the top, and then you're just tilting the hip back and forth. Again, 20 to 30 seconds. And then we're going to do some small hip circles. So we're going to draw a circle with our tailbone around. We're going to go in one direction, 10 to 15 seconds in one way, and then you're going to do the same the other way, 10 to 15 seconds, drawing a circle, trying to get as big as possible circle with that tailbone. Next, we're going to do hacky sacks. So we're going to have an internal rotation and external rotation. You're working again the hip here. So you can imagine you have a little hacky sack ball. You're hitting that on the inside and on the outside. You're going to do 10 on each leg, 10 to 12, and then do the other leg. Try to keep your foot flat, the side of your foot flat as you do these. Next up, we're going to do standing windmills. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your front toe pointed forward and your right toe pointed out 45 degrees. You're going to stick your left arm straight up into the air. And to go down, you're going to push your hips back, the hinge movement, and allow your right hand to slide down your leg almost to the floor if you can reach it, however go down as far as you can. And then to come back up, you're going to drive the hip forward and stand up nice and tall. You're going to repeat that 3 to 4 times on one side, and then you're going to switch to the other side. So you would have your right foot pointing directly straight ahead and your left foot pointed out 45-degree angle. You're going to put your right arm up into the air, and then you would push your hips back to go down, lowering your left hand along your leg and driving your hips forward to come up. So it's that hinge movement. We're going to warm the shoulders up with some standing shoulder rotations. If you have a resistance band or perhaps a broomstick, otherwise, if you don't have either of those tools, you can just do forward and backward arm circles instead. For the shoulder rotations, what you want to do is place your hands as far apart as possible on the implement you're using. You want to keep both of your arms straight so you don't have a bend in your elbow. And while you're performing the movement, you want to keep your shoulders depressed throughout the movement, so no shrugging of the shoulders while you perform the movement. And you want to make sure to keep the rib cage down, so don't let that pop up. Keep the rib cage down and the belt tucked up. You want to perform these nice and controlled, so don't go too fast through them. And you want to perform about 20 repetitions front and back with these. Get down into child's pose with your butt back on your ankles and your arms reached out fully in front of you. From child's pose, you're going to come up and push your hips towards the ground into a Cobra position. In this Cobra position, you want to pull the shoulders down and back, opening up the chest, so spreading the collarbones apart. Repeat this 4 to 5 times or whatever feels good for you before moving on to the next exercise. From child's pose position, you can come up into a quadruped position on your hands and knees, and you're going to perform a half kneeling reach, and then drop your arms back down to the ground and do a half kneeling hip rock back, and then back into the half kneeling reach. Make sure you drive your hips back straight. There's a tendency to pop the hip back out to the side of your leg that's back on the ground. Up next is the tactical frog, so get into a tabletop position. You're going to spread your knees apart as wide as you can. Walk your hands forward, come down onto your elbows. And then you're going to rotate your foot out to the side. So this is an active internal rotation. And what you want to do is make sure that you're moving from the hip joint and not your low back. Here's from the side, or from the front, you can see how the feet go out. The 90-90 tripod reach over with a spinal twist. So you will start with your left leg ahead and your right one kind of back to the side in a 90-90 position. You'll reach your left hand back and reach over with your right hand, pushing the hips forward. You're then going to move your left hand out to the side and do a reach with your right arm, and then you're going to come back and repeat this 4 to 5 times before switching to the other side. For the 90-90 crab reach over, kind of like a crab windmill, you're going to get into that 90-90 position again. You're going to lower your body down to one side, and then you're going to push away, bringing your arm over around into kind of a crab position, and then drawing your other arm back around and lowering yourself back down on the other side. You're going to repeat that from side to side, and eventually as you get faster, you can whip your arm around and it becomes a bit more dynamic. But for now, we're just going to stick with the slower windmill reach around. And you want to perform about 4 to 5 of these on each side. And that brings us to the end of our 10-minute warm-up for this month. If you have any questions, send us a direct message or leave a comment in the comment section and we'll get back to you.